Good evening and welcome to the Club World Cup live for another round of 16 matchup, and 4 of our 8 quarter-finalists are decided over the 4 games from the previous 2 nights. But tonight we watch an Inter Milan side take on Fluminense as another European side faces off against a South American opponent to try and take place in the quarter-finals. Also this evening, in the early hours of the morning, Manchester City will take on Al Hilal, and the winners of this game will play the winners of that one in the quarterfinals next weekend. Already in the fixtures over the last 24 hours, of course, yesterday we watched PSG's 4-0 victory over Inter Miami. Quite a thumping, really, in that first half from PSG. But last night, it was a little closer between Flamengo and Bayern. Ultimately, it was Bayern that progressed the European side, knocking out the South Americans once again. They were 2-0 up inside 9 minutes, Bayern Munich. An own goal from Pulgar, and then a Harry Kane goal inside 9 minutes made it 2-0. Erson got one back shortly before half-time, before Goretzka also added and restored that 2-goal lead for Bayern come half-time. It was 3-1 at the break. Jorginho then got an penalty to get them back into the game again, Flamengo, but in the end it was Harry Kane's goal, and the 4th for Bayern that was to wrap it up. In terms of the stats, it was pretty even in terms of the two teams, but on the night it was Bayern that could find the back of the net more often than Flamengo, and double the amount of times. A 6-goal thriller, and Bayern coming out on top, which means in the quarterfinals we have another quarterfinal set. PSG take on Bayern Munich. What a cracking quarterfinal that is set to be. That will be played at 12 Eastern on Saturday the 5th of July, next Saturday, or Saturday coming actually, at the weekends, and that will be 5 o'clock UK time. And also Palmeiras against Chelsea as our other quarterfinal. Actually, this one tonight, these two games this evening, will be hosting our first quarterfinal on Friday evening. Inter taking on Fluminense, and Man City Al Hilal will be the other opponents, and then we'll find out tomorrow who will make up the final quarterfinal of the competition. This is the way it sets up then over the next few days. Inter Milan and Fluminense, 8 o'clock tonight. We're a couple of minutes away. The players, as is tradition, are coming out of the tunnel in the stadium. In the early hours of the morning, Manchester City take on Al Hilal at 2 a.m. And then tomorrow night, we'll have this one live. Real Madrid against Juventus, an all-European battle there between Real Madrid and Juventus. Looking forward to that one. That's an 8 tomorrow night. And in the early hours of Wednesday morning, it's Borussia Dortmund against Monterrey to round off the round of 16 so far. Well, it has been a very intriguing last 48 hours of all these games, and we are set up for another incredible game tonight, I am suspecting. Of course, Inter Milan under new management now, after Simone Inzaghi headed for Al Hilal, who are in this competition. And if they get through, Inter and Al Hilal would get through, and that would be some match-up for the quarterfinals, but we're getting ahead of ourselves on that one. And a Fluminense side, of course, have that man, Thiago Silva, in the back line. A very well-versed defender over the years at the top of European football, and now, of course, with Fluminense, a club where he started his career in Brazil for Thiago Silva. Well, for one of these two teams, it will be the end of the road tonight. Will it be Inter Milan? Will they be a faded European rival that will follow the fates of Benfica, who were knocked out, the only other European side that, or the only European side so far that's been knocked out of the round of 16, obviously in that all-European battle between Chelsea and Benfica. But could Inter follow suit, or could Fluminense follow the fate of their likely South American sides in Botafogo and, of course, Flamengo, who have departed from the competition? Let's have a look at the two teams then for tonight's game, and starting with Inter Milan, Jan Sommer starts in goal. They've gone for this similar system that Simone Inzaghi played, that back 5/back 3. Denzel Dumfries is the right wing back, Darmian de Vrij and Bastoni a back 3, with Federico Di Marco on the left wing. Asllani is alongside Mkhitaryan and Barella in midfield, with a front two who we know very well, Lautaro Martinez, the captain, and Marcus Thuram leading the line. For Fluminense, they start with Fabio in goal. They've gone for a 4-2-3-1. Xavier at right back. Of course, Thiago Silva, Ignacio Rene, in the back four. Thiago Silva, of course, the captain. In midfield, Bernal and Martinelli, with Nonato in the 10, Arias on the right-hand side, Freitas on the left, and Cano leading the line for Fluminense this evening. Our VAR is Tatiana Guzman from, I think that's Nicaragua. And our referee is Ivan Barton from El Salvador this evening for this one. Kick-off in this one, the round of 16. It's Inter Milan against Fluminense. Europe v South America once again. Kick-off is next. A very good evening. Welcome to the live watch-along of Inter Milan against Fluminense this evening at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. I said that last night. One of my favourite stadiums to watch in the tournament so far. It's just that atmosphere right on the verge of the city. Just got that beautiful atmosphere. And tonight we'll hear from two very passionate sets of fans, and Inter Milan and Fluminense fans, both who will be desperate for their teams to progress, of course, and their possible opponents, Man City or Al Hilal, in the quarterfinals of whoever gets through tonight. And that game is a little later on, as you can see on the right-hand side, and will be live for Real Madrid against Juventus tomorrow at 8. We are almost about to get underway. They have a little advert going on at the moment. Before we do get underway inside the Bank of America Stadium, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated. We're agonizingly close to 28,000 subscribers, so if you could help us over the line, that will be incredibly appreciated. And thank you all for joining us this evening. We are about to get underway. Our El Salvadorian referee will get us going in a moment. It will be Inter that will get us going. Lautaro Martinez over the ball for this round of 16 tie. It's knockout football. It's Inter against Fluminense in Charlotte, and we're set for what is to be a very exciting fixture this evening. A very intriguing matchup. As we're underway then for this one, and of course extra time and penalties if necessary to decide a winner. Of course, 2 of our round of 16 fixtures have gone to extra time. Palmeiras, Botafogo and Benfica Chelsea. Palmeiras and Chelsea coming out on top in those 2 games. None of our games have gone to penalties as of yet. All have been finished inside allocated time. There's a little issue there for Jan Sommer. He almost collided with, I think that was Cano of Fluminense, and that was a little bit strange from Jan Sommer. Just got it out of the side of my eye. They're both okay, but it was very bizarre, that little moment. That could be a bit of early nerves there from the Inter keeper. I think we can get a replay of that. That would be fantastic. There is the head coach of Inter, of course, took over from Simone Inzaghi, Christian Chivu. Of course, only his 4th game in charge, obviously, here this evening after the 3 group games, 2 wins and a draw from his first 3 games in charge. But of course, managed Inter at youth level for quite a number of years, Christian Chivu. He was at Parma, the only other job outside of Inter's kind of conglomerate, or the Inter organisation, and he was only at Parma for 4 months before he did join Inter in the start of this month. 44-year-old from Romania. And of all of his games as a manager, he's won 94 games. That's a 50% win record for Christian Chivu. And of course, Inter, the first team at Inter Milan, is just a whole different kettle of fish when it comes to pressure. We saw what way Simone Inzaghi bowed out after that 5-0 thumping in the Champions League final to Paris Saint-Germain last month. And of course, he carried them to 2 Champions League finals in as many years as Simone Inzaghi, losing 1-0 to Man City in 2023 and then 5-0 to PSG in 2025. And of course, Inter do have pedigree in the Champions League and are one of those European heavyweights. Won 3 Champions League titles previously, or European Cups. And they would quite dearly love to add this trophy to their cabinet, Inter Milan. It'll be a great start to Christian Chivu's time in charge claim a big trophy like this. Although Fluminense have a bit of joy down the right here. Arias trying to fizz it into the box. It took a deflection. It's bounced down and it's headed in. That is passive if you ever seen it from Inter. That is dreadful defending. And Fluminense snatch a lead inside 3 minutes. It was a nothing cross. It took a deflection. And somehow, some way, Inter did not realise what was coming. And I don't even think the man that headed it in knew what was coming. Fluminense take the lead. And look at this again. It's just a breakaway down the right-hand side. And this, a nothing cross from the right-hand side. Just deflected and it bounces in front of Jan Sommer, who's far too kind of hesitant to get to the ball. And the centre-forward is just easy to just head it in low into the box or into the goal. German Cano. That was dreadful from Inter. But Fluminense will take it, no doubt, and they have snatched an early lead here. Inter Milan 0, Fluminense 1. Wow. His first goal of this tournament for Cano. And you gotta say, Inter can have as many back there as they want. But when they defend like that, you're always at risk of being punished. And, I mean, it was bizarre how little they did. It was crazy. The cross came in, you could see it from a mile off. It was like it was in slow motion. And no one in Inter black and blue decided to go for it. And Jan Sommer, far too hesitant. But as I said, Fluminense took the advantage and used it. And that's German Cano's first goal of this tournament, as I said, for the 37-year-old Argentinian. He's played in all 3 previous games. He got an assist against Ulsan in that 4-2 victory in the group. That's his only goal involvement of the tournament coming into this one. His last Fluminense goal was back in the Brazilian League against Vitória in a 1-1 draw. He opened the scoring in that one back in April. What a start for Fluminense, but a very unlike Inter way of defending that. They're usually very aggressive, very on it, very alert with their defending, but that was anything but from Inter Milan and punished duly, and rightfully so. Free kick here for Fluminense. And now they will use that to their advantage. They will use that to build the momentum in the game. Maybe just take stock a little bit. There's a late challenge there in the midfield, and it's German Cano that's brought down again. Referee is just going to have a conversation, I believe. I'm not too sure who that was on that occasion. It might have been Mattia Darmian. Yeah, it was. It was Darmian just stepped into the middle, and Cano already had the ball played off to Martinelli, and yeah, it was late. Very late there for Matteo Darmian. And he's probably lucky that he didn't get a booking for that one. In the end, just a free kick for Fluminense, but referee just having a chat with Matteo Darmian. Not the start for Christian Chivu's side they would have wanted. Conceding so early. Andy, welcome in. Great to have you with us again. Very unlike an Italian team to let a goal like that in. There's always an upset. Is this the game? It happens. Well, I earmarked 2 games from the round of 16 that I thought there could be an upset. This one and Dortmund against Monterrey. 2 games where the European sides haven't been at their best and can be got at if the South American sides are up for it on the day. And so far we've already seen that Fluminense are able to snatch upon the lack of defending from Inter, really. We'll see how they respond to going behind and how Fluminense respond to having the lead in the game. So far, so good. Freitas flicking it over the top, looking for the run in behind there from the goal scorer Cano again, but the ball falls all the way back to Jan Sommer, who clears his lines quickly. Brought down by Barella in the midfield. Right, Aslani, who runs into a white shirt, and he's going to give the foul against Aslani here, and it's going to be a yellow card for the Inter midfielder. There is surrounding of Fluminense shirts and Inter shirts in complete complaint to the referee, but he's flung out the yellow card. Aslani's on the ground, along with the number 16 there, Nonato, who was fouled. But that was really strange from Aslani. They're half asleep here, Inter. Aslani brought the ball down, tried to pass it back, but he run into Nonato and then just slid into him. It was just really bizarre. It's a yellow card for Aslani. Yeah, see it again. Aslani slides. He loses the control a little bit and comes sliding in on the number 16 Nonato. I mean, it's just lazy and really dangerous slide tackling. He's lucky there. It is a yellow card, but Inter have been all over the place so far. Christian Aslani with that yellow, and that means if Inter do progress, he will not be available for the quarter-final if Inter are to head through. Gunga in the chat says, hello, good evening, I missed an early goal. Yes, you did. Not often we've seen early goals in this competition, but we have one tonight. Andy says they have performed well, the South American team, through this cup so far. Fluminense, a good side. And that's another reason where I thought, right, what matchups are likely to be somewhat upsets, in a sense? What European sides are not going to have it all their own way? And Inter was one where I looked and I went, yeah, Fluminense are a good team. They've got some good players. They've really got a good structure in and around them. And they've played well in the tournament. You know, they got that. I mean, ultimately, they probably should have beaten Borussia Dortmund in the group overall when we watched it. But on that day, Dortmund looked like doing nothing. And then they thrashed Ulsan, of course. And then the draw with the Mamelodi Sundowns was basically just to secure a place in the next round. But if you're to really take into consideration, they don't concede many goals, Fluminense, and they've got a threat up the other end. What's not to like about that? Here's a chance in behind for Inter. Nice flick back. Oh, good shot. But a good save by Fabio to send it away from danger. And now they tried to hit a counter there, Fluminense. That was better from Inter. I think it might have been Federico Di Marco, if I could see, that had that shot off the left channel. It was well saved by Fabio. There's a player down in the box at the moment, a Fluminense player. See this again. What a ball by Nico Barella. Over the top it goes. Chested down by... I'm trying to see who that was that chested it down. I think it might be the runner. Mkhitaryan, it is. Mkhitaryan on the spin. He rolls it back, and then Federico Di Marco coming off that left channel, driving into the box, and has that straight effort right at Fabio, who makes a good save. It was a little bit better from Inter. That was the Xavier who's down receiving treatment at the moment. You just see this goal again. I mean, it's crazy how... I mean, lack of anything is going on there from Inter. It's bizarre. So bizarre. I get it if it's a straight cross, if it's coming with some pace. But the cross takes a deflection, which takes all the pace off. It's more of a looping ball. You can see it a mile off. That's why I said it seemed like it was in slow motion. It came in, just looping into the box. And Jan Sommer's looking at it and going, I'm not going to go for this. And it baffles me as to how hesitant they were Inter to that goal. It's just bizarre. It's one of those crazy goals. Just craziness. And credit to German Cano. He was the first to react and had the ball past Jan Sommer. Uli says Inter were asleep there. That early goal is going to give us a good game. It will do indeed. It means Inter need to push a little bit more. And not kind of settle themselves into the game, because I think Inter would be a team that, if they're not pushed, they'll not really try and come out too much. They'll not try and impose themselves too much too early. I think they'll just try and settle into the game, whereas now being behind so early kind of forces them out of their shell a little bit and makes them have to do more. Maybe that could work in Fluminense's favour, Inter being under more pressure, being behind. Ball into the midfield again, couldn't hold it up. Little bit of bobbling as the ball comes out to the right hand side here for Inter. Barella on this right flank, he's got Dumfries inside, he's got bodies in the box. Barella goes for the cross. It was Thuram that was in the middle, but it was just enough from the defenders in there in white to get it back to Fabio, the goalkeeper. Inter have not really acted like Champions League runners-up. Losing that final might have dampened their game. 5 goals in a final can upset a player's team's more of morale. Yeah, 100%. I think the way they have played, Inter, the way they've performed, well, yes, in this tournament, but kind of really before the final, they kind of collapsed to the end of their season. If you remember, you know, they were on for a treble at one point when they were when they were going into the semi-finals of the Champions League against Barcelona. They were still on for a treble because they had the Coppa Italia kind of the Coppa Italia final, and then they had the semi-finals of the Champions League as well, and it all just came at the wrong time, and they all just kind of fell apart. Inter, really, they got to the Champions League final, they lost the league on the final day, and then they lost, obviously, the Coppa Italia. And you look and you go, it's mental how what could have been such a great, promising season for Inter turned out to be a season where they got absolutely nothing in terms of trophies. And when you talk about that, coming into a tournament like this, no one wants to play this after the season that Inter have ended on. And of course a new regime and the new ideas coming in and all of that with the change in manager. It's kind of just this tournament's a little bit of an enigma for Inter, really. It's just like glorified friendlies, and no disrespect to the competition, but in that way, from that mentality, they'll still want to win, but it's like, if they don't win, it's not the end of the world. If they go out, it's not the end of the world. It's not like if a Man City goes out at this stage, it will be a bit more detrimental to them because they're like, they had expectations to go right to the final. I don't think Inter are in that category of teams that expect to go to the final. I think they'll wish and hope that they could get there, but I don't think they expect it. Inter, and you know, at this moment in time, I think the way they ended last season, I think for Inter, they just needed a full reset, and I think getting rid of the manager, getting Simone Inzaghi, a new face, would help, but also I think they just needed a rest. They just needed to end the season, forget about it, go on holiday, and then go into pre-season with a completely clean slate. And I think this competition kind of muddies the waters a little bit for Inter, in a sense that they haven't really had closure on the last season, and then they're going into next season. It's all kind of a bit of a little bit of an enigma, as I said. As there was a little push and a foul in there. It's going to be a free kick to Inter Milan. German Cano returning the favours from earlier fouls that he committed, or he got committed against him, and a yellow card there for him. %. I agree with everybody what the chat saying about the goal being so important for Fluminense, but also pressureful for Inter in these early moments. 100%. Mariana joining us in the chat as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, 100%, Andy. I think from Inter's point of view, it's just a point in the year where usually it is just a chance for the players to switch off after a season that ended so badly. Just forget about it, go on holiday, and then come back completely clean slate in mid-July for pre-season. Where this competition, as I said, kind of makes that a little bit more difficult for Inter. And rightfully, as you say there, it might have a negative impact on their on next season, on their first season under Christian. Why did I forget his name there? Christian Chivu. I said his name about 3 or 4 times already, just so I know that I remembered it, and then I just completely blanked there. It's been a little bit... Nothing's really happened so far, although that's a ball over the top here for Inter. DiMarco with a run, he's forced Fabio to make a punch away. That was a moment out of nothing. Another clearance long from Fluminense, trying to get it away from danger. They're threatening to win it back, and they do win it back high up here with Cano. Fed out wide. Flag stays down in the wide area here for Nonato, breaking forward. And the flag eventually goes up against the Fluminense attacker. I mean, they took a long time to decide that he was offside there for Nonato, but that he was. And the free kick goes the way of Inter. 18.5 minutes gone. Inter Milan 0, Fluminense 1. That goal inside 3 minutes from German Cano. And it gave Fluminense the lead. Might just upset the apple cart here a little bit. As Inter again trying to run through bodies. Lautaro Martinez wins the foul that time. Mkhitaryan. Out wide it goes here to Denzel Dumfries. Dumfries trying the through ball in behind, but hits Barella in the process. Still keeping possession. Dumfries. Barella. Dumfries made the run, but Barella doesn't want to take it. Links up with Thuram instead. And then Barella chops it backwards towards Matteo Darmian. Stefan de Vrij. To the left hand side it comes to DiMarco. De Vrij again. Going to build up a bit of possession now, Inter. Down the right hand side comes Barella. Chips it in towards the box. Too high for anybody in Inter colours, and Fluminense can clear the lines again. A long darted ball up the field, but that was a little bit wasteful. One back again by Inter. De Vrij. Barella. Back to Mkhitaryan. Nice little 1-2s. DiMarco inside to Martinez, and the ball back out wide from Lautaro Martinez was too quick for Henrik Mkhitaryan to chase. That's gone out free. Throw in to Fluminense. It's a little bit aimless there from Inter, who've had 74% possession so far, Inter, without anything of note to really claim of it. Certainly in the last 5 minutes, anyway. Denzel Dumfries. DiMarco round the corner looking for Thuram's run, but nicely cut out there by the Fluminense defender on that side. Ignacio puts it behind for the corner. More defending for Fluminense to do here. Inter's for the first corner of the game. On this left-hand side for Inter. Chance to lift it in. Left-footed. Out swinger. Headed away by a man in white in the middle. Held up here by Arias, but stolen away from him as it's cleared up the field once more, that time by Rene. And out for a throw into Inter. Starting to turn into the type of game where Inter are dominating the possession and Fluminense are just sitting deeper. They need to be careful they don't sit too deep and just kind of accept and invite the pressure. Here's DiMarco. Goes out wide on the left hand side there. Bastoni trying to link up there with Lautaro Martinez, but it's nipped away from the Inter captain as they try and break forward. Lovely little turn on the ball there from the number 21, Arias. It was nice there from Fluminense as they keep possession now on this right hand side. Xavier Trying to go for the 1-2 link up down that right hand side. It's kept alive though. Here's Donato. Xavier playing it in behind for Donato to chase, and on that occasion Bastoni had that one covered. Goal kick. Again, there's a slight glimpse there from Fluminense that they can still pose a good attack and a good threat to Fluminense. Nice work from Darmian in between the lines. Thuram, who dropped deeper. He's trying to charge his way through the set of Fluminense players, but he's got no room to manoeuvre. No room for Donato either. Up the other end in white, and now Barella skips past the challenge. Barella into the box. Thuram will hit it first time, but Thuram saw it flying over the bar. And behind for the goal kick. It's better though, but it was Nico Barella's ball once again, causing threat to that Fluminense defence. On that occasion, the shot from Marcus Thuram was just too high on the first effort, and it was always going over the bar. Andy says 70% Inter, and next most likely goal at the moment sounds like Fluminense. They want another goal. They're not sitting back. They're trying to play. Hats off to them. They're certainly not sitting deep. Too deep, Fluminense, I've got to say. In moments they are sitting back, and obviously they will do when Inter have possession, but they're not kind of given up on trying to play here, which, again, quite courageous and fair play to them. Could embarrass Inter even more. Switch ball out to the left hand side here for DeMarco. Lovely takedown. Cuts it back. Trying to find the room in behind, but it's closed down well by the Fluminense defence. And now they're trying to turn defence into attack. Nice little combinations down the right. Arias has got space. He's got Inter players in the vicinity, but he's somehow fending them off at the moment. And still Arias. Lovely little spin on the ball there. And they work it back into midfield. That's really nicely worked on that occasion. Back out wide to Arias again. Trying to get them into good spaces. Donato dispossessed, and Martinelli too. They just couldn't keep the possession there, the midfielders, but Fluminense putting in a few challenges, and that one there for Martinelli was just a little bit too exuberant, and that's going to be a free kick to Inter. Credit to Fluminense so far, they have continued to toss up, and that man Arias on the right hand side, John Arias, has been exciting so far. As Inter try another cross, cleared away. Dumfries has got an effort, he hits it, blocked. Barella again, as it sees it wide is Darmian. It's going to be a free kick. And that's going to be a yellow card for the referee to hand to the defender there, right on the edge of the box. The number 22 for Fluminense, Freitas, committing the foul on Matteo Darmian. Is he outside the box? He is just. That's a great spot by the referee. It is not inside the box. So he is incredibly lucky there, Freitas, because it's definitely a foul. But he's incredibly lucky that it was outside the box. And that's just a free kick to Inter rather than a penalty. Very lucky, and Juan Freitas gets himself a yellow card for that challenge, and rightfully so. It was very late. He stood on the foot there of Matteo Darmian. So a free kick here for Inter, right on the edge of the box, on the right hand side. A chance to deliver from a set piece. DeMarco is the one that's going to take it, and he hits it off the nearest wall, and it goes behind for an Inter corner. Tried to go for the near post effort there, Federico DeMarco, but they had it covered over, and on that occasion it goes out for the corner to Inter. Gotta say, Freitas, as I said, very lucky that that was on the edge of the box and not in it, because it was marginal. It was incredibly close. Corner for Inter, right hand side. Referee's just trying to sort out one or two scuffles before the corner's taken. Aslani lifts it in, right-footed. Oh, good header in there by Ignacio. And it's going to be a foul anyway against Inter Milan. It's going to be a free kick to Fluminense. Some pushing and shoving in there. Uli says Inter has been that team that if they decide to turn up are unbeatable. But last few games it's like they just ran out of energy. 100%. And sometimes that can happen at end of seasons. You know, we see it a lot with teams where they get off to this unbelievable start to the season and maybe peak too early, and then when they've hit their peak, well, once you're at your peak there's only one way to go, and that's down. And I think Inter had hit their high maybe in the quarterfinals, maybe probably the semi-final of the Champions League, and after that when they hit their peak they just dipped completely and it all fell away from them in the latter stages of that campaign. And I think that's what can happen when you exert so much energy over a season and put so much into it. Sometimes you just can't get to the end and you fall away at the final hurdles. We've seen it kind of in Arsenal's first few seasons in trying to go for the Premier League title race. They got to the last 10 games and just didn't have anything left in them to take it, to do it, to get over the line. And sometimes you just have to manage yourself throughout the season and you kind of blow yourself out, really, in a sense. Kuro says, hi, first time being here. Your commentary is very nice and pleasant to my ear. Not too much high notes or foul language. Sorry if my grammar is a little bit off. All I'm here is a Finnish guy. Thank you very much for joining us. Here's a shot from Arias. Good save. Follow up. Oh, it's hit wide. Oh, that's a fabulous chance. And Javier with the effort that's fizzed across the box and out the other end. That is incredibly close from Fluminense. See it here, they steal the ball away. We don't know what Darmian's doing there, thumping it forward. It's given away, and it's Aslani that has the effort from the edge of the box. His is saved well by Sommer, but as he rebounds it, it comes back out and falls for Xavier on the right-hand side, and he strikes it right across goal, low and hard, and it just curls ever so agonisingly wide of that left-hand post. Inches away from doubling their lead, Fluminense. Inter are taking a much needed cooling break, as we have that cooling break on the 30-minute mark here inside the Bank of America Stadium. And Inter could have been heading into this one 2-0 down, but they are counting their lucky stars that it's just 1-0, because that was such a gilt-edged chance for Fluminense to double their lead. How lucky are they? Sorry for interrupting reading your comment there, Kuro. Thank you very much for joining us. Great to have you with us. And, as you can see in the top right corner, for everybody joining us, thank you all, because we have just hit 28,000 subscribers. So thank you so much. That is incredible. Thank you all very, very much. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. It's greatly appreciated. And we thank you all for watching this evening with us. So far, it has been incredibly entertaining. A goal from Fluminense and a big chance that could have made it 2-0 just mere seconds ago. And we do have that cooling break at the moment. A reminder for you, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, Man City take on Al Hilal. That's a 2 a.m. kickoff in the UK. We'll be able to recap that for you tomorrow night on our final round of 16 coverage, as we watch Real Madrid take on Juventus tomorrow, 8 o'clock, and that live commentary rounds off our round of 16 coverage here on LFS. And unfortunately, as I mentioned last night and previous games, we are not able to do the quarterfinals. Unfortunately, I'm away on a trip for a few days at the end of this week, so unfortunately we'll not be able to do the quarterfinals. But we will, we promise, we guarantee that both semi-finals and the live final will be here on LFS next week. So you'll not want to miss that whatsoever. So do get involved. It's great to have you with us. As we get back underway here, after that little cooling break, taking on some fluids, rehydrating the two sets of players, and seeing what they can produce in the final quarter of an hour of this first half. So far, Inter have had a lot of possession, but haven't really imposed themselves on Fluminense, really. But it is the Brazilian side that have the goal and could have had, and probably have had, the best chance to double that lead so far. It is 33 degrees Celsius in Charlotte, North Carolina at the minute. Of course, I believe North Carolina is in the Eastern time zone. I believe. If it's not, it is in the afternoon anyway. I believe it kicked off at 3 p.m. Eastern, this game. Right in the middle of the afternoon and the hottest part of the day, surely, with both sets of players. But I would say Fluminense obviously would be able to deal with that heat a lot better, being in this sort of climate all year round. Italy isn't the most isn't the hottest all year round, of course. Will be at this time of year, but they're not used to playing football at this stage of the calendar year, these players, unless of an international tournament. It's Fluminense that are dealing with it better. So much better at the minute. Their football is crisper. They look more confident. They're better on the ball at the minute. Fluminense and Inter are just kind of passengers in this game at the minute, which is exactly not what you need. Certainly not what Inter need. Having 2/3 of the possession and being called passengers is quite an insult to what they've been doing so far in this one, but that's the truth of it. Freitas, Rene, Slani, working it round the midfield. That's really nice football. The ball chipped down the right hand side, but well closed out there by DiMarco. But bounced back down the right channel, but that man chasing it over there was offside anyway. I believe that was Xavier, but he was offside anyway. Well, Inter, I think, need a little bit of a boost before half-time here. I think they need to try and push for that equalising goal before the interval. Need something for their own confidence. Thuram, nice little reverse ball to find Barella. Barella, who was brought down there around about the edge of the D, and that's going to be a free kick. Sara Martinez is complaining, I think, maybe for a yellow card, and Barella's in pain here, really in pain. See this again. Yeah, it's just a step across from Rene, and it is a little late, but it's not too bad. It's not the worst thing in the world, and the yellow card has come out here from the referee to Rene, but whether he was going to give it or not was a bit confusing. He wasn't too sure, the referee, initially, and he has handed out the yellow card to the Fluminense player. That's the fourth yellow card of this first half, 3 of which have gone the way of Fluminense. Now another free kick chance. This time around about the edge of the D, slightly to the right hand side of the goal for Inter. And there's Federico DiMarco that it looks like who's standing over it. Nico Barella is just getting some touch-up treatment as he gets back to his feet. And Inter will be ready to take this free kick. This could be a good chance. Federico DiMarco trying to claim that they're not 10 yards away from the ball, but our referee's not hearing any of the complaints. He set his line up. He knows where the distance is, and it's Federico DiMarco who's over it for Inter here. Around about 23 yards out, slightly to the right. DiMarco hits it low and hard and right at the goalkeeper in Fabio, who makes the claim. It got through the wall. It's one of those ones where the keeper might be expecting it to go high, and DiMarco tried to catch him out, but Fabio watched it all the way as it went round the wall, and he knew what was coming to him, and he dealt with it well, the goalkeeper. There's going to be a free kick here to Fluminense. Darmian a little bit too handsy again. Andy says, I remember Italians struggling with the heat in '94, I think. What would that have been? A World Cup? 1994? Chip ball over the top there from Fabio as the free kick taken, but not on that occasion did it work. We've won it back with cheap Inter possession given away. Chip ball over the top, Aslani to chase. He will get there, and he's got the ball. Trying to find round Bastoni, who clashes with the Fluminense player, and a foul is given against Bastoni here. And that's going to be another yellow card coming out. Alessandro Bastoni is the latest to be booked here. And that's another free kick. And that's another Inter player who has been booked, and if they progress, that's another Inter player who will be missing for a suspected quarter-final. Both Aslani and Bastoni now would be suspended for a suspected quarter-final if Inter were to progress. That is a real tough one to take for both of those players. Remember, Inter would have to progress first for that to be a worry. It was Xavier, by the way, that was fouled. So free kick to Fluminense on the far right-hand side here. Delivery lofted into the box, headed away by De Vrij. Martinelli trying to keep it alive, swings it out to the right flank again. Brought down by Arias. Nice little interchange inside. Lovely ball over the top into the box. Bouncing down the header. Oh, and it's headed in again. And there's a second one. They're calling for offside, Inter. But the flag stays down. And Fluminense double their lead. It's another header. It's another moment of pure nothing from Inter Milan defensively. And Fluminense take advantage. Again, it's just working it in and around the box. They keep it alive. A couple of headers, a couple of chances. I think he might be offside, though. I think he might be offside. He is. And that's not going to stand. Unfortunately for Fluminense. The player who heads it in was in an offside position. You can see it a mile off. They are checking at VAR. So it's not been ruled out yet, but from what I could see, it looked like it was offside. He was ahead of the ball. So it is offside as the referee announces to the stadium. No goal. Ignacio was in an offside position when he headed it into the net. And that is why it is only 1-0 to Fluminense. Yeah, it was a bit of head tennis. They were bouncing around the box and the header across goal towards Ignacio. When that header was taken, he was in an offside position ahead of the ball, therefore in an offside position, and cannot have scored. But again, it is another moment where Inter are hanging on. They are by far looking more likely to concede again, Inter, rather than actually equalising. And that will be a massive worry for Christian Chivu, because you would have expected to concede so early for Inter that they would have responded well. But this first half has been, really, they've been a shadow of themselves. Yes, they've got into good areas on occasion, but nothing we really think Fluminense have been in major trouble on many occasions, really. And that's something that Inter need to figure out. Just passing it around at the back here, Inter. Trying to find something. It's been, I gotta say, when Nico Barella's got on the ball, he's been their most threatening player, because the balls in behind, over the top of the Fluminense defence, have been the most threatening, or the switch balls. That's where they find their advantage, Inter. When they play it low and across the ground and kind of between the lines, they've just been caught out and closed down pretty simply, as we see the offside decision. He's not acres offside, but he is offside there, Ignacio, by about a couple of a yard or two, maybe. It's unfortunate for him and Fluminense, who have been the better side in this first half, you got to argue, but unfortunately, on that occasion for Fluminense, the goal didn't stand. But fortunately for Inter, it might be a reprieve that they most desperately need. Or maybe that wake-up call that they need, because they've still been half asleep in this first half. That's not a great header by Denzel Dumfries defensively, and just about dealing with it there to Darmian and Dumfries to get it back to Jan Sommer, as Martinelli was causing a threat there. Here's Asllani, nice reverse ball, finding Lautaro Martinez, who wanted to link up with Thuram, but Thuram was on a different planet there. Here's a ball to Arias, into the box. This shot is over the bar by John Arias for Fluminense. Yeah, it was nice work from Asllani there, reverse ball to find Martinez. That's where Inter can threaten when they play the ball first time, but on that occasion Martinez tried to get too cute to find Thuram, and it just didn't work out for Inter on that occasion. So closed down in the midfield again. Barella this time that was closed down. And Fluminense working it between the lines. Here's Ignacio, trying to play it out to the right hand side, but undercooked it towards Xavier. Stepped in Ignacio to challenge, but the ball given away, and here's DiMarco down the left channel, but it's going to be a stoppage. Referee's blown his whistle for something. See this again. That's a very good challenge there from Ignacio on DiMarco, and I think the referee might have pulled this back for a foul initially. He was stood on there, Ignacio, by DiMarco, inadvertently, but he was. Last minute of the first 45 then. Inter 0, Fluminense 1. That goal in the 3rd minute from German Cano, as Ignacio gets some treatment. That's what separates the two sides at the moment. They had chances to double their lead, to further their lead, Fluminense, when Xavier hit wide. And that Ignacio header found the net, but he was in an offside position. They've had chances to add to their lead, Fluminense, but it's still only the one goal that separates the two teams, as we head into 7 additional minutes. 7 minutes of additional time at the end of the first half, so more than enough time for it to change before the interval. The referee's just going to play a drop ball here to Inter. Samuel Xavier there was a little bit annoyed that he couldn't get anywhere near DiMarco, but that's an uncontested drop ball for you. It's uncontested for a reason. Asllani. Look at the lack of options. Stefan de Vrij, Asllani, out wide it goes to Dumfries. They're all just very static, the Inter players. Not much movement going on. De Vrij plays it out wide now to Darmian, who just about keeps it in as he overstretched it, but he's played it nicely through in behind for Barella, who did well. That will be a corner. And Bernal was the one that put that one behind for the corner. It was a little bit better, the run from midfield, but wasn't much movement before that. Asllani to take this corner, right-footed, lifted into the box, flicked away by another white shirt again. They're trying to send it on the counter, but good defending there from Mkhitaryan. Stepped across and put it out for the throw. Yeah, we're just seeing that moment again between Ignacio and DiMarco a little bit earlier. It was accidental from DiMarco, nothing more. Andy says, I think Fluminense scoring early means this will not end up 1-0. I think 2-1 to Fluminense, final score, just because of how early the first goal came. Well, here come Fluminense again, and behind the shots. Took a deflection. It will be a corner. Trying to see who that took. That shot came off there. It was Arias again. He has been a big threat, John Arias, for Fluminense, certainly since they took the lead. Let's see what he can deliver from this corner on the left-hand side. Lots of bodies in the mix. in white as he rolls it, and the ball curled into the box. A little bit of a stretching header there to reach it, and then Inter can claim it and steal it away. Barella. Really, it looked like he'd know where to go, but a lovely little spin turn, and he's flicked it over the top here, Barella, but maybe too much for Lautaro Martinez to chase as Fabio comes flying out of his goal and puts it out for the throw. And now there's a whole melee that's unleashed on the sidelines. It's an absolute chaos all of a sudden. I'm not too sure what's happened. I could probably guess what's happened, but I will refrain from doing that. And there is a clash on all of the subs and coaching staff, and everybody's had to get involved there. We'll see this again. So Mkhitaryan tries to come and claim the ball for the throw-in. It was kicked away by the Fluminense head coach, who's got a yellow card. Fluminense players are claiming why Mkhitaryan didn't get a yellow. The referee just trying to calm the whole situation. And Renato Portaluppi getting a yellow card there for his aggressive actions, and just unnecessary kicking the ball away. It's just childish, really. And the Fluminense bench there that are all seemingly warming up on the sidelines have all calmed down a little bit now, as Inter will get this through in. That's all you can do, just shake your head at it all. What the Christ, I mean, Jesus. 3 minutes or so of the first half to go. Inter 0, Fluminense 1. Inter with this throw-in on the far right side. Darmian over to take it. Maybe going for that long ranger into the box. That's what it looks like they're going to do here, Inter. Darmian to take this. He's taking his time. Really taking his time here. He's thumped it into the box with a long throw and the header, and there was a foul anyway from Marcus Thuram on one of the Fluminense defenders. So after all that, it's going to be a free kick to Fluminense anyway. See this moment again. This is just mental. Yeah, Mkhitaryan just kind of squares up to the Fluminense head coach, and then it just all breaks out. Sub-goalkeeper gets involved, the assistant referee gets involved. They're all in on it, and then the whole bench just erupts and surrounds Mkhitaryan. I mean, that's just mental. It's something or nothing, really. It's probably the most passion and aggression Inter have shown in the first half from Henrik Mkhitaryan there, with that kind of shove on the Fluminense head coach. Been a little bit passive other than that in all areas of the field, have Inter. Thuram's header up in the air. Cleared away there in the midfield by Bernal, but it's brought down well by De Vrij. Get Inter back into possession again. Last minute of the half. Can they snatch an equaliser before the break, Inter? Some would say they probably shouldn't deserve it, or wouldn't deserve it, but it's not what football's all about. It's not about what you deserve, it's what you come away with. And can Inter steal something before the break here? They're not really getting very far again. De Vrij, Aslani, Bastoni now. Trying to drive forward, Alessandro Bastoni. Gives it out wide to DiMarco. Back to Bastoni on the left wing. Bastoni's delivery. Dumfries with a header cleared away. And it's looped and onto the roof of the net by a Fluminense defender. It will be an Inter corner. That was awkward, but they did their job there, the Fluminense defenders. It will be a corner. One last corner before the break for Inter. It was a nice combination between DiMarco and Bastoni down that left channel. And now DiMarco will take this corner. Left-footed delivery into the box. Up in the air by Ignacio, and then headed away down that right-hand side by Arias. Still alive, still going here. The referee's going to allow one more cross into the box. Half cleared, and then hooked and headed well by German Kanu for the throw-in. Well, there's a good 40 seconds over the 7 minutes here. They're still playing. The Fluminense bench is going nuts again. They won half time. Header into the box, and that's flapped down by Fabio, who will surely end this half with that catch. And there is the end of the first half. A little bit later than the Fluminense head coach would have wanted. But in the end, after 53 minutes of play really in this first half, it is the Italians that are behind. It's Brazilians Fluminense who lead after German Cano's 3rd minute goal. They could have had more in this first half, Fluminense, but they have that narrow advantage at the break. Half time, it's Inter Milan 0, Fluminense 1. We'll analyse the first half and all of the other fixtures from the round of 16 when we come back. Welcome back to the Club World Cup live here on LFS this evening in this exciting round of 16 fixture between Inter Milan and Fluminense. It is the Brazilians, Fluminense, who lead by 1-0 at the break, and probably deservedly so, if you've got to say, from that first half. I think, yes, Inter have had a lot more possession, and yes, Inter have probably had more shots, and yes, Inter have probably got into the final third more often. But Fluminense have the lead and probably had the better chances of that first half, and that's the simple facts of it, really. You know, Inter did have 66% possession in that first half. They had over 70% for a good majority of that first half. But it comes back to the old saying, you can have as much of the ball as you want, but if you do nothing with it and do nothing threatening with it, you may as well just not have the ball, really. And that's been evident from Inter in that first half. I think, as I said, the most aggressive they looked was when Henrik Mkhitaryan was squaring up to the Fluminense head coach. On the field, Inter just looked passive. They just looked like they were half asleep. They looked like they weren't in it, if you know what I mean. They looked like they just looked tired. In all areas, they look like they've run their course, and they've had enough, and they're just done. Now, of course, they have individual quality. Taro Martinez, Marcus Thuram, Nico Barella, the wide players, and Dumfries and DeMarco. They have lots of quality, no doubt. But it just looked like those players are done and dusted. They look like they're done in. And at the minute, Fluminense are looking the more energetic. They're looking the more excited of the two teams. And I think their energy and their passion in the way they play, the way they're winning the ball back, their passing is just sharper, just quicker, more kind of instinctive at this minute in time. And that's where they're finding the differences. That's where they're having that advantage. That's where they're getting the better out of this game. They may have half of the possession that Inter have, but what they're doing with it, and in those tight spaces, and they're working the ball quickly, and they're moving it to players they know who can cause a threat, and they're getting it into good areas that can be a threat for them in an offensive sense. And, you know, from Fluminense, it's been quite a perfect first half. The only bad thing the only negative I could say from Fluminense is that they haven't added to their lead. And yes, they've had chances to do that, but that's the only thing I could say whether you could point a negative to Fluminense from that first half. They're defensively impeccable. Their possession, when they have it, has looked sharp, has looked crisp, has looked on point. They're getting it to good attacking players who are causing a threat, and especially John Arias on more than one occasion. And they're having good chances at the Inter goal. They're making Jan Sommer and asking him questions, making him make saves, making him kind of be involved in the game. And what more can be asked of Fluminense other than everything that they've done in that first half. They just, unfortunately, haven't added to that lead from the third minute. They took the goal in the third minute, a bit of fortune, a bit of kind of not fortune. That makes it as if they didn't deserve it, but they took the chance when it came. When an opportunity came their way, they took it, and I think Inter were passive from minute one. They have been the whole way through the half, and it was evident as soon as Fluminense scored. It could have been that was their wake-up call. That was their moment for Inter to go, right, we've had that bad start. Let's refocus, let's up the tempo, and let's get on to this game and try and get an equalising goal as quickly as possible. And really, it didn't work anywhere near that level. I think if we look at Inter's threat in that first half, they didn't have a shot till the 11th minute in the game. They had that shot from DiMarco, which, to be fair to Federico DiMarco, was a good save by Fabio and a good shot. But then they didn't have another shot on target until the 37th minute, and it was Federico DiMarco again. So there's a good 26 minutes there between the first shot on target and the second shot on target for Inter, where they did really nothing. And they had 70% possession or more in that moment, in that time period. So you gotta question, you gotta understand, you gotta look back and go, where was the energy? Where was the fight back? Where was that kind of uptick from Inter, that step up, that extra gear where they went and gone, yeah, we're gonna go for this, we're gonna go and get the equaliser? Really, it just looked like in that first half they were just passing around and wasting time. That's what it felt like. They only went for the shot when it was 100% necessary. It looked like they were trying to play possession football, in a sense. And it was just a bit bizarre, really. There was no energy, there was no passion, there was no vision. There was nothing really from Inter in that first half. And I think they have been a shadow of what they're capable of. We know what this side is capable of. They're capable of getting to a Champions League final. They're capable of competing in Serie A for the title. They're capable of getting to the semi-finals of the Coppa Italia. We know what they're capable of. But in this first half, they have been less of a shadow of themselves. They've been barely recognisable from an Inter Milan team that we watched over the last 9-10 months of last season. It's crazy. And the only thing I can put it down to is they're done in. They're completely done in. And look, they could come out in the second half and show some energy from nothing and completely turn this around. That's possible. That's possible. Anything can still happen in the second half. But from that first half, that's my assessment. Inter look like they are done. They have been gassed. Their season is over. They look like they have given every single fibre that they can possible to this season, and they have nothing left to give. They look run out of ideas completely. But again, make a couple of tweaks. It's crazy how one change in a team, one personnel change or a little tweak tactically can completely turn things around. So based on that first half, yes, Inter looked tired, but they can come out in the second half and change it. No doubt about that. And from Fluminense's point of view, they still need to be wary of that. They still need to be aware that, yes, they lead, and yes, so far Inter haven't massively caused them goal-mouth problems or goal-threat problems, but they're still capable of turning it around in the second half, and they're not done and out of this game yet, Inter. So from Fluminense's point of view, I think they need to still do more of the same, do what they did well in that first half, try and build on it, and try and get that second goal as quickly as possible, and demoralise Inter even more than what they did in that first half, because they just demoralised Inter. That's as simple as what it is. They were demoralised. They had nothing to give. And, from Fluminense's point of view, they scored early on. German Canos, I don't know how or what Inter were doing in that third minute. I don't know whether they were still kind of in their hotel room sleeping, or whether they hadn't come out of the dressing room or whatever it was, but they were not on that pitch. They may as well have just walked off, Inter, because they didn't get involved whatsoever in trying to defend that goal. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen, because you can see it a mile off what's going to happen. And not a single Inter player, there's probably about 4 or 5 Inter players in and around the vicinity, and not a single one of them have a clue what's going on. They're all looking around, dazed as if, what is actually happening? The cross came in from the right-hand side. It took a deflection So it wasn't a straight cross, it wasn't a fizz cross, it wasn't full of pace. It deflected. So the pace was completely taken. It was a looping cross from the deflection. It looped into the box, it bounced down. German Cano the first to react, and Jan Sommer staring at him like this, as if to go, what are you doing? I mean, it was baffling how they'd scored and what Inter were doing. I don't even think they could explain what they were doing, really. It was bizarre. And then Fluminense had more chances. They could have had a goal through Xavier or Javier or whatever. Oh, sorry for the mispronunciation. There's so many different pronunciations. I think it's Xavier. But he had an effort. Good bit of play down the right side. Ball comes to Xavier. From the rebound, he has the effort, struck right across the box. It was actually, I'm trying to remember, Arias, yeah. Arias has the shot from the edge of the box. It's well saved by Jan Sommer, and on the rebound, it's Xavier that has the shot, and he just hits it so close. It's just wide of that left post. And then, of course, the goal that was disallowed, the header from Ignacio, and he was in an offside position. He was just offside, but he was offside. And, you know, if that goal was onside, it would be damning for Inter if they were 2-0 down. And I said it when they went to the cooling break in around about 30 minutes, just after the chance had happened, and I said, this is a much needed moment for Inter, because they were all over the place at that stage, and how they aren't further behind, I will not know, but they didn't, for me, show enough in that first half to try and fight back from 1-0 down. From the third minute, they had 50 minutes in total. We had a 53-minute half. They had 50 minutes. Yeah. They had 50 minutes. I confused myself there. They had 50 minutes to respond, and they didn't. They didn't, really. They didn't. And if both of your shots on target have come from your fullback, your wing-back, Federico Di Marco, something's got to be going wrong there. If it's your wing back that's having the two shots on target, having your two best chances of the half. A lot of work still needs to be done for Inter in that second half, and that will be fast approaching. 3 minutes to go until the second half gets underway. Andy, thank you very much for getting involved in the chat. Great to have you with us. Everybody joining in the chat. Inter needed a holiday after that Champions League final. Yeah, 100% they did. And, you know, I mentioned it in the first half. When you've had a torrid end of the season like Inter did, they lost the league in the final day. They lost the Champions League final awfully. Thumped 5-0 and lost the Coppa Italia semi-finals. When you were on course for a treble at the end of April, and end May with nothing in terms of silverware, that's going to be demoralising. That's going to ruin anything you've got. And you're going to be mentally destroyed. And Inter at the minute, they need to show some fight back. They need to show something. But from that first half, it didn't really look like they had anything to show. But we'll see. There's a big second half on the way, and that is on the way in about 2 minutes' time. So do stay with us. Welcome back to the Club World Cup Live, our round of 16 coverage of Inter Milan against Fluminense. Half time it is the Brazilians Fluminense who lead Inter by a goal to nil. Our final game of the round of 16 takes place tomorrow night. We are live again around the same time, 7:50, 10 minutes before kickoff, as Real Madrid take on Juventus in the round of 16. That's tomorrow, 8 o'clock on LFS. And the winners of that one will play the winners of Borussia Dortmund against Monterrey. That will be the final round of 16 game to take place in the competition. That's tomorrow at 8. A reminder for you, we have both semi-finals and the live final live here on LFS for the commentary, so do not want to miss that. That's next midweek and next Sunday, the July the 13th, for the live final. All three games, the two semi-finals and the final, all played from the MetLife Stadium in New York, New Jersey, and we're looking forward to seeing that one. We are about to get underway for the second half. The players just coming out for the second half. I will reset the match clock and get us ready to go for the second 45. A first half that really, from Inter, will be one to forget, but for Fluminense, a lot of positives and barely any negatives, really, for the Brazilians from that first half. And who knows? We'll see what Inter can provide and can offer in the second half. And maybe just not go out with a whimper, really. If they go out, Inter, they'll want to go out because the other team was just better than them on the day, and they gave their all and they tried and they just couldn't do it. The last thing Inter will want to do is go out of this competition on a whimper and a really bad game, a really poor performance, and so far that's what it is at the minute. And credit to Fluminense for so far having taken advantage of that momentarily, but remember, still another 45 minutes to go in this one. Thank you everybody for coming into the chat and getting involved. Do hit the like button, subscribe and turn on post notifications. We have just hit 28,000 subscribers, so we're on the road to 30 now. We're on the road to 30. 29 is our next, and then 30 is not too far over the horizon, so do get involved. Do subscribe as well. Thank you very much everybody for getting involved. For this one, our referee Ivan Barton from El Salvador has certainly knows where his yellow card is after that first half. As we get back underway, he gave out 5 yellow cards in that first half. 5 yellow cards to players, 6 in total. He gave one out to the Fluminense head coach as well. So 6 in total, really. So knows where his yellow card is, this referee. Lema says Inter's not helping, but the ref is also making some crazy actions. I think the ref's been a little bit. It's been a game that's been hot-headed. It's been a game that's been kind of some really weird challenges, some crazy moments, just a little bit unprofessional from everybody around. And the referees has had a little bit of a tricky game to deal with. And sometimes there is just a game that calls for a lot of yellow cards. Certainly. I wouldn't be surprised to see a sending off or two from Gunga. Who knows? The game maybe has been slightly going that way a little bit. Ruslan says there is a chance for Inter to win the match or win the second half at least. What do you think? Well, there's definitely a chance. There's more than a good chance for Inter to find a way back, but they just need to get on the ball and be passionate. They need to be more energetic. A lot of the time when they had possession in the Fluminense half, in the first half, they were all just standing looking at the ball. As Bastoni goes for the long throw there. Cleared away again. It's an effort from DiMarco. And that one, or Stefan de Vrij, sorry, and that's just gone wide from long range. Fabio didn't commit to the dive. I think he kind of figured out it was going wide pretty early there, the Fluminense keeper. %, Lima. May the best team win. So far, that would be Fluminense. As it stands, a lot can still change in the second half. As that's going to be a foul on a Fluminense player. It's going to get them an early free kick just inside their own half there. On occasion it was Rene that was brought down, the left wing back. Brought down on that occasion, a 32-year-old Brazilian, Rene. Joined Fluminense just back in January on a free from Internacional. He spent 2.5 seasons. Now here's a chance for Inter from that Fluminense free kick as they give it away. Martinez. Now Mkhitaryan trying to return the ball to a centre forward and captain, but it's given away cheaply. Mkhitaryan's pass was closed down well, and that was smart there from Cano to play it off Bastoni and win a throw-in for Fluminense down the right side. Well, for Fluminense, this second half, I think a lot of it needs to just be do more of the same. Do what they were doing in the first half. You know, keep Inter at bay. And of course, progressively that will be more hard to do as the game goes on and Inter become more desperate to try and find a goal. But I think there is a world in which Fluminense could come out of this game with a clean sheet. And that might seem crazy to say, but this is a team that, you know, is strong defensively, Fluminense. They have got a really strong defence and a really solid, kind of commanding defence. So if Inter aren't at their best, if Inter aren't on form in an attacking sense, there is a world in which Fluminense could come out with a clean sheet. Let's see what Inter can provide to oppose that. 4 minutes gone in the second half. It's been mostly, again, Inter with the possession. That's a switch ball from De Vrij. Down that right-hand side for Darmian, but he tried to play it to Barella and played it straight to the player in white. And now they want to try to hit the counter-attack here, Fluminense. Arias kind of stalled the counter for a moment. And is actually just going to reverse it back to his centre-back in Freitas, just to settle the possession. Finding Ignacio. He was closed down, and then tussling was Bastoni to win it back, and now he's played it in for Thuram down this left-hand side. Marcus Thuram up against Ignacio, who steps across and blocking Thuram. He's diving for it. He did really well there. He put his body on the line there, Ignacio. And now Arias comes away with the ball. Nice little give and go down that left-hand side for Fluminense, but not on the same page as he tried the return ball there. Xavier to Arias, and it didn't quite work on that occasion. De Vrij fizzing it out to the left side, but too much to find DiMarco. It's the right idea, just a little bit too much on that occasion. A throw in again to Fluminense. Andy says last match the feeling was we would like to see a non-EU semi-final, 2 in the quarters if the score remains the same. Yeah, well, we talked about that between PSG and Inter Miami last night, about how it would be European dominance in the quarterfinals if there was no real major upsets in the round of 16. There is a possibility that there could be only one non-European team in the quarterfinals, which would be a real detriment to the quality of this competition if that were to be the case. I think I said it early on in the group stages. I think it will be eventually Europe v South America, and that is going to be almost exclusively the case unless Al Hilal beat Manchester City. That will be the case no matter what, because that will be the only non-South American or European team left in the competition, Al Hilal. So they are. So, you know, that would only be the case if that were to change. But we knew it would be Europe v South America, the two strongest continents with football. But it would be pretty damning, as I said, if it was just going to be 7 out of the 8 quarterfinalists be European. And they're trying to add their name to the list here. A chance. Dumfries sliding for it. And it will be a corner as the last touch come off a Fluminense defender. There's a nice ball in behind, and Dumfries made the run. And as he tried to either square it across or have the shot, he just kind of slipped. And in the end, the ball came off a defender of Fluminense and goes out for the corner. They're going to make changes here, Inter. A triple change, I believe. Well, that's a statement of intent. Henrik Mkhitaryan, Aslani and Dumfries are all coming off. So Henrik Mkhitaryan, Christian Aslani and Denzel Dumfries all replaced. And that wasn't a corner, it's just a goal kick actually that's been given here to Fluminense. And the 3 players coming on, I can tell you in a matter of seconds when I have that information. Valentin Carboni, Petar Sucic, and the other one, I haven't got the information yet, but a triple change there from Inter. That's a statement of intent from Christian Chivu. Now trying to get involved down this right hand side. DiMarco trying to work it into the box, but well cleared away again by the Fluminense defence, who have held strong once more. at Coffee Cafe. That says 3-1. 3-1 to who? DiMarco. To Bastoni. Down this left-hand side, Bastoni stalled on the ball. Somehow he's managed to work it around the corner, but Nico Barella couldn't keep that one in play. And that's gone out for a throw. Confirmation of that third change, by the way. Luis Enrique as well has come on. So Valentin Carboni, Luis Enrique and Petr Sucic all on for Inter. They're replacing Henrik Mkhitaryan, Denzel Dumfries and Christian Aslani at this moment. So of course Sucic and Carboni going into midfield and Enrique going to the position of Dumfries at right wing back. That's the two substitutes there. Carboni and Enrique tried to link up but dispossessed, and now a run down the left hand side here for Fluminense. Work back into midfield again to Martinelli. All the way back to Ignacio. Arias working it round the corner. A loose ball was snatched upon by Martinelli, but the last touch. The referee's just going to blow the whistle here, as there's going to be somewhat of an issue. I think they might have just given a throw in. They have to Fluminense there. Here's Ignacio again, down the right channel. Look at the run here that's on. It's a run in behind for Arias, trying to reach, but coming across and doing the strong bit of defending there, Stefan de Vrij. And coming first into it, puts it out for the throw. Actually, will be an Inter throw. De Vrij got a last touch off the Fluminense player there, John Arias. So Bastoni will take this throw in. Well, so far, 10 minutes of the second half, it's again been more the same. More Inter possession, but nothing really of great note to mention in terms of attacking chances. Fluminense with a high press again, forcing the throw in to be given as a mistake. Taken as a mistake by Inter, and now Samuel Xavier is going to take this throw for Fluminense high up on the right side. Not down by Arias, who was dragged there, but took the referee a second or two to make the decision. And Alessandro Bastoni, who's on a yellow, has to be careful. The referee didn't initially see it as a foul, but yeah, he's definitely dragging John Arias back there as he got the ball, and that's definitely a foul. Again, as I said, he's on tender hooks here, Alessandro Bastoni. Already on a yellow. He will miss the next game no matter what. Even if they qualify, obviously if they qualify Inter, he won't be involved. So let's see what they can do here from this set piece. Fluminense, John Arias over it. Bodies in the box. Everybody back for Inter to try and defend this moment. Arias right-footed, lofted to the back post. It's brought down, the shot is taken, and it's bobbled wide by German Cano. He already soared this evening. And on that occasion, the shot, the touch, the shot, and it actually come off the number 22 there of Fluminense, Freitas. And that directed it wide for a goal kick. Yeah, you gotta say it's been one of those where anytime Inter do something right or do something positive, it just seems like Fluminense have got their number. It seems like they've got them right where they want them in a sense. DiMarco. Nice work there from Lautaro Martinez, holding on to the ball, and he won the free kick, which they've taken quickly. Not wasting any time. Barella. Now playing it to Bastoni, who's drive forward, but he was firmly challenged. No foul, said the referee. Now there might be a bit of a positive moment here for Fluminense. They've bodies up the field. As DiMarco tried to get involved. Out wide it comes to Arias, who works it back inside to Martinelli. Held up by Cano. Martinelli again. They're into a good area here, Fluminense. Nonato challenged. Well won back again by Bernal. Holding on to the ball well again, Fluminense. Despite the Inter press, despite the trying to close them down. He held on to the ball well on that occasion, and there's a player down at the moment, but the ball's across. Whoa, too far and too much ahead of German Cano, but that was a nice idea. As it's Martinelli that's down here. He was challenged a little earlier, but he's continued to play on Fluminense, and on that occasion he stayed down and is receiving some treatment from one of his teammates. There, Matheus Martinelli, as it looks like they're going to make a change anyway here. Fluminense, a double change is incoming very shortly. Well, they are still threatening for that second goal, Fluminense, which is still positive for them. Still very promising. Yeah, it just looks a little bit irritating there for Matheus Martinelli that moment. You got to say, they're taking on water a lot here, these players. They're really trying to keep themselves hydrated in this heat. As I said, 33 degrees Celsius, the heat in the United States, in Charlotte. I don't know what that is Fahrenheit. That's the way they measure it over there, but I'm not too sure what it is. But they were going to bring the stretcher on, but now they're going to have to walk that stretcher off again, because Martinelli is okay to get back to his feet, which is good to see. And they're going to make that double change then. So Martinelli's coming off. He's going to be replaced by the number 35, Hercules. And the second substitution is going to see Lima coming on, and he's going to replace Nonato. So Nonato off alongside Martinelli, and coming on as Hercules and Lima in their places. So both sides gone to the bench. 3 changes for Inter in one go, 2 for Fluminense. So that's a lovely ball between the lines here. DeMarco across, deflection. Very good block in there by Ignacio to block that cross. Brought back to the midfield there for Inter as they work it wide. Right to Enrique. Trying to find anybody in the box. Cuts it back to Barella. Now into the midfield there for Socic. Can't really find any room again. Right wide it goes to Enrique, who tries to thump it across with a cross, but he's blocked and cleared away again. Arias chesting down to break away as he was caught. And that's another free kick to Fluminense. At 91 Fahrenheit, 33 degrees Celsius, if you were ever so inclined to worry and want to know about that. Welcome in, Laser. Great to have you with us. Marino says, I want Inter to win, but I feel like Flamengo is going to win. Fluminense is going to win, yes. Flamengo were put out by Bayern Munich last night. Yeah, I get them mixed up too. No offense, but I certainly do. I have done. Fluminense and Flamengo. I've also said Inter Milan and Inter Miami interchanged with each other. It can happen. Simple mistakes. Throw in here for Fluminense. As they work it well here to Arias, who will have a shot. Oh, good save by the keeper. That was a very good shot by John Arias, and it needed a good save off Jan Sommer. Just stretches it round Bastoni, who tried his ever best to block it, and he somehow curled it around Bastoni. There, Arias, and a very good left-handed save by Jan Sommer to direct it wide. That was a great chance. And now Arias will take the resulting corner. They're pushing for a second one here, Fluminense. Arias with the delivery. The header is over the bar at the near post. My goodness, that's the closest either side have come to finding the net. It was Bernal that got that header, by the way, that was flicked over the bar. But John Arias, what a performer so far. I said it in the first half, he was their most threatening player. And so far in this second half, he's had their best chance, Fluminense, to double their lead. As he held the ball up well there, now it's given off. And they try to chip the goalkeeper. But Jan Sommer has it and dealt with. I'm getting myself too excited here. I need to settle again. I need to relax. 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 John Arias, by the way, already on the score sheet in this tournament. a goal and an assist against Ulsan, the South Korean side in the group of this competition. He scored the opening goal of that game for Fluminense and assisted their 4th goal of that match. So made a continuous impact in the game. Here he is again. Arias on the left-hand side now. Decides to turn back to Rene. Freitas. Back out wide to Rene again. He will try and bypass the midfield, but the cross was a good idea, but the offside flag would have went up against Cano there if he'd have gone for that one. Sommer under pressure from German Cano. Sommer gets it clear of danger. They're battling in the midfield again, Fluminense, and they win the ball better once more. Nice little combinations again. Here's Arias again. Lima finding it across, blocked. Cleared away there by De Vrij. Look at that, poor again. That was Martinez that time that gave it away. Ignacio, he will go for the early cross, cleared away by De Vrij. One back by Ignacio, but he was closed down well by DiMarco eventually. Oh, that's awkward clearance from DiMarco, but it made it work. And Thuram, nice ball round the corner. Carboni trying to break forward, but he's getting nowhere with that one. Gotta say, Fluminense have not stepped off the mark. They've not tried to set back. They've not tried to hang on to this lead. They're here to be aggressive. They're here to try and find a second goal. And so far, you wouldn't bet against them trying to get it. Or at least you wouldn't bet against them getting it at this stage. They've had some very good opportunities. Here's Bastoni. Just passes it back to Jan Sommer. Again, the press is intense from Fluminense as Bastoni hooks it up the field. And a little bit of an overzealous challenge there by Ignacio, who'd won the ball initially, but at the detriment of shoving an Inter player to the ground. They're going to make that 3rd change now at Fluminense. It's going to see the goal scorer, Ignacio, coming off. He's been replaced by Everaldo. And Inter have made their 4th change of the game, and I'll let you know about that in a second. So more changes for both teams. Enrique working it around our Inter, trying to regain any sort of control in this one. DiMarco, Bastoni, Barella in between the lines, finding it out wide to Lautaro Martinez, who will go for the early cross. Headed away there in the middle. In time Freitas got the header. Barella. Bastoni, couldn't control it there, Alessandro Bastoni. And it bounces out for the throw-in. That probably sums up Inter's game. Really? That's 4th substitute, by the way, for Inter. Marcus Thuram was replaced by Sebastiano Esposito. What a name. Sebastiano Esposito coming on up front for Inter. And that's 4 changes they've made now. 24 minutes or so to go with this game, this tie. It's Fluminense who've led since the 3rd minute when German Cano headed past Jan Sommer. That's a ball in behind there. That's a chance. Oh, stretching and reaching. Cries of handball from Barella. But Fabio gathers. The referee sees no issue or infringement, and neither does the assistant. Whether VAR will or not, I'm not too sure. I think they've cleared it already. Nico Barella seemed incredibly certain that there was a handball in there, but nothing the official spotted. Martinez challenged by Ignacio, but a little late from Ignacio, and that's going to be a free kick to Inter. I've got to see this again. This ball in behind. Barella was uncertain. Oh, yeah, it does come off the arm of Thiago Silva, but 1, Barella hits it from literally less than a ruler's length of a distance, and 2, his arm's bound down by his side. That's never in any planet a penalty or a handball. I get Nico Barella's frustration, I get why he said it, but it's definitely not a penalty. Definitely not. Free kick here to Inter on the left hand side. DiMarco over it again. They need to find something of positivity, a spark somewhere, Inter. DiMarco delivering. Lofted away. Only as far as the back post, who's swung back in again. Headed across. Oh, it's deflected wide by Stefan de Vrij. Literally 2 or 3 yards out, and he's directed it wide there. My goodness. See that again. It's Luis Enrique that chips it back in. Martinez winning the header. Flicks it across, and then de Vrij, all he has to do is direct it home. Directed for the leveller. And he hits it wide. Wow. Is that evidence that it could maybe just not be Inter's day? What a chance. What a chance to miss from Stefan de Vrij. That's, I gotta say, the funniest comment manual that I've ever had about my commentary. Your calmness and composure could bring peace to the Middle East. Wow. That's probably the most, the funniest comment I've ever got about my commentary. But thank you very much. I'll take it as a compliment. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, that one's got me. Inter here, down the right-hand side. Enrique going for the cross, blocked. Again. Oh, that was a little bit weak. Barella lifting it into the box now. Over the head of Martinez, and again, there's lack of vision from Inter. They look dead on their feet. And they're really slogging it through here, Inter. But again, they get a goal out of... It's one of those that if Inter do get a goal, it'll be something out of nothing. It'll be a goal that's scrappy or out of nothing. Here's a chance. Oh, Federico DiMarco got a through ball there, but the man that was on the end of it in the end couldn't direct it anywhere near the target there, Esposito. A change incoming here. Bastoni is going to be replaced. And it's going to see Carlos Augusto coming on for Inter. That's going to be their final change of the 90 minutes. So Carlos Augusto replacing Alessandro Bastoni, who's on a yellow card, and he looks a bit knackered. Bastoni has been put through the ringer at that left centre-back this evening. Augusto winning his first header. Barella carrying it through the lines, and he's chasing a lost ball there, surely. Yeah, he's given everything to chase that one down, but even Sonic the Hedgehog would struggle to chase that one. You gotta admire his ambition, though, Nico Barella. He's probably been the only player on the field for Inter all game where you could probably say, yeah, he's given his all. He looks like he's in it. And you can't really say it from anybody else. There is a link to go and vote for your player of the match at play.fifa.com/POTM to go and vote for your player of the match. And that will be revealed around about the final whistle. No problem. Thank you very much indeed, Manuel. Elizabeth says, could Milan score 2 goals? They could score 2 goals, but will they? I'm not too sure. Kunga says you have an Irish name. Yes, Caoimhan. Caoimhan. And I am from Ireland. Born in Belfast, which is in Northern Ireland, but yes, I am indeed. Augusto. DiMarco. Back inside to Barella, who's run this show for Inter all afternoon. He's the one that's tried his hardest. He's the one that's give his all. He's the one that's run himself into the ground for this Inter team. At the minute, he's just on his own out there. Augusto lifting the ball into the box. Martinez had it. Got something to it. Esposito, can they get it away? Carboni was in the middle, but scrambled away by Fluminense. That was better from Inter. A little bit of an awkward header by Esposito turned into a better chance for Inter, so they had a bit of energy in and around the box to try and get something. Fluminense clearing it away. Are we at the point in this game where maybe Fluminense have just decided to step off a little bit and Maybe try and soak up the pressure a little bit more and maybe try and see it out for 1-0. I think that's a dangerous game to play with 16, 17 minutes to go, but so far they've defended well. They actually wanted a foul there at Fluminense, and I think they probably could have had an argument. It looked like their defender there was shoved by Esposito before he got the touch to the head, the touch to the ball with his head, but in the end, nothing comes of it. And we have a free kick to Inter here around about the edge of the box instead. Let's see what they can produce from this. Well, DiMarco had an effort a little bit closer in the first half that was low and hard and caught by Fabio. This one's a little bit further out, a good 5-6 yards further, but 27, 28 yards out here, this one. Slightly to the right of the goal again, so similar position, just a little bit further back. It's DiMarco and Esposito over it. It's DiMarco, lifts it over the top! Oh, and it's gone wide. He had Fabio scrambling, but he couldn't get it on target. Everything was right but the accuracy. And that was all but perfect from Federico DiMarco. Oh my goodness me. Great effort, lifted it over the wall. It was dipping, it was curling, and it just went wide. High unlucky. That's a good effort by DiMarco. It just curled away from goal. As we're going to have another cooling break to keep the players hydrated. Remember, do vote for player of the match as well on the FIFA website, and we'll let you know who wins that vote come the final whistle. They'll put it up on the screen and I'll let you know. So do get involved. play.fifa.com/POTM. Happy birthday to Marino Hani. Marino, thank you very much. Happy birthday to you. Hope you're enjoying your birthday. Laser says, Fluminense, let's go. Well, they now have a drinks break. They will take on some fluids, take on some hydration, and with 15 minutes or so to go of the 90 minutes, can they hang on? The Brazilians. Or can Inter spark something of a comeback? Well, remember, we have more football coming your way over the next day or so. Man City Al Hilal is a 2 a.m. kickoff. I'll read that in a moment. Man City Al Hilal is a 2 a.m. kickoff. The winners of this game will play the winners of that one in the quarterfinals. And then we're back tomorrow for another watch-along commentary. Real Madrid against Juventus tomorrow, 8 o'clock, live on LFS. That's our final round of 16 coverage for you. The winners of that game, Real Madrid Juventus, will play the winners of Borussia Dortmund Monterrey in the quarterfinals. I don't know whether to believe that, Marino. If she has, I apologise and hope that you're okay, but I don't know. I mean, if that were to happen, that would be a very unlucky birthday. That would be really unlucky, but let's move on. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post. I don't deal with this shit well. Like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That's greatly appreciated. We hit 28,000 subscribers tonight, so thank you all for getting involved, and thank you all for hitting that button. And do keep hitting the like button. It does massively help the channel. We are at 40 likes, so thank you very much. There's over 180 of you. Each one of you likes. That's 180 likes. But thank you all for joining us. There's no pressure, but thank you all for getting involved and joining us this evening. Right, we're back on the way. 13 minutes of normal time to go here at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. And Inter have a job on their hands. You need to find something in this game if they're going to not buy out. A part of me would actually just say to the Inter players, just give yourself a chance and then just lose the game. Because they need it. They need a break, Inter. I would never tell a team to purposely lose, but they need it. They need a break, man. I mean, when does Serie A start up again? The fixtures have already come out. Serie A, to be fair, Serie A doesn't start till the 25th of August, so that's a good 2 weeks after the Premier League starts. So they have an extra 2 weeks, but yeah, they need a rest. Those players, that they need a holiday. Here come Fluminense. lofting the ball towards the box. Away by De Vrij, not convincingly though. Still wouldn't rule out a second Fluminense goal. That was a forced ball through the lines there by Ignacio, a little bit wasteful. Nice header by Esposito, finding Lautaro Martinez, holds off the challenge well. Now Barella, turning away from danger. Nico Barella looking for options. A little bit short towards Augusto, but he makes it work. Now Sucic, Di Marco, out wide here to Lautaro Martinez. Back to Federico Di Marco, trying to find a way through. Barella. Nice little touch there from Carboni, who brings it wide to the left-hand side. Works it back to Barella. Bodies in the box if he can find one of them. Barella's cross. Lofted. Enrique was battling. It's kept alive. The shot by Lautaro Martinez was saved well by Fabio, who was alert, unaware of what was around him. And as the ball fell to Lautaro Martinez, he spun on it, had the shot low and hard to the right corner, and Fabio had it covered to make the save. It's probably Lautaro Martinez's first effort of the game, if I'm not mistaken. Been massively involved. I believe that is his first shot. If not his second, at least. But he's not been massively involved today, the Inter captain. He knows how to find the net, but so far today he's been quiet. Scored 2 goals in this competition already as Lautaro Martinez, the equaliser in that 1-1 draw with Monterrey, and the ultimate winning goal against Urawa Reds in a 2-1 win in the group. Fluminense have made a 4th change, by the way. I believe it's Thiago Santos that's come on. We'll let you know in a second, but they have made another change there at Fluminense, as that's another wasteful ball. Ignacio there, maybe tired legs coming into effect now. 10 minutes or so to go for Fluminense to hang on to this lead, to knock out a European side out of this competition. Can they do it? 100%, Andy. I fully kind of agree with that sentiment there that you put into the chat. Yeah, 100%. It's just I'm not good with dealing with things like that. I don't know what to say. Andy says, I'm shocked there's not another goal by now. Oh, that's a ball into the wall. Lautaro Martinez again. And a good save by Fabio once more. And now Fluminense are on the break here. Can they make something of this? It's Arias on the left-hand side. He's got bodies arriving into the box. Arias cuts it back, but DeMarco was quick and was able to smother it as he comes bursting away with the ball now. Can Inter use what they've carved open in the last few minutes to find an equaliser? Luis Enrique swinging it out to the right-hand side here. Cuts it back inside. Here's Martinez on the turn. Oh, another save by Fabio. That's 3 saves in a matter of minutes. And it's Lautaro Martinez who's been quiet all afternoon. And he's had the 3 great chances. And all 3 of them have been denied by Fabio. Said something out of nothing could turn this game around for Inter. And 3 big chances for the man you would bet your house on finding the net from those positions. Lautaro Martinez hasn't been able to turn them home. And he looks up to the skies and wonders what went wrong. See this again. What a chance there. Lovely little spin on the ball by Esposito, I believe. Whips it in. And then Lautaro Martinez stretching. Great save by Fabio. But that was the second chance. Great save. Inter might have just been given that little spark. that they've been waiting for by Lautaro Martinez, and might that give them a flurry of opportunities in the final 7 minutes. Here's Luis Enrique. Enrique! The shot was well over the bar. Yeah, we see this again. That was... Oh, it hit the post actually, that third one. Turned on the ball, whacked it with his left foot there, Martinez, and it come off the inside of the post. I mean, how unlucky. My goodness. 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, that finds the back of the net. Everaldo gets a break of the ball here. Oh, he's absolutely fizzed that one across. And now here's a chance for Fluminense to end it. They get a goal here, they would. Oh, shot over the bar. That was off target. That was probably their chance to end the game completely. That was lofted over the bar. They're starting to find some gaps, both sets of players. And now they're able to take them at the moment. It's very warm all of a sudden. It's got very warm in this room. Here's Di Marco. Enrique. Time is dwindling for Inter. And that's a poor pass. Nicely intercepted though. Now they're on the move slightly here, Fluminense, down the right hand side. But yeah, Inter have it covered. It's a little bit of a clumsy little challenge by the substitute there, Thiago Santos. And that's going to be a free kick to Inter and a yellow card for Thiago Santos. Just kind of basically wrestling at Carboni to the ground there, and it's going to be a free kick. 5 minutes plus additional time to go. Inter 0, Fluminense 1. Is there room and time for something drastic? Remember, Chelsea were on the verge of victory when they were 1-0 up against Benfica. And Benfica got a late added time penalty to equalise the ticket to extra time. In the end, Benfica still lost, but they still didn't give up to the final minutes of their game. Luis Enrique now. Can Inter follow suit? Cleared away again with that cross. It was Thiago Silva that time that cleared it away. Barella. De Vrij. It's all Inter in attack. Down the right hand side it comes. Augusto. Chipping it into the box, but the lofted ball is comfortably caught by Fabio. See this for a chance again. What a ball by Everaldo. Arias laid it off, and then the shot there from the number 41, I believe that was. Trying to figure that out. Oh, here come Fluminense again. Still might be time to end this game if they get a goal now. It would be all and done. Gone to the corner flag. Maybe a bit early for that. Arias. Dribble along the goal line, or along the byline. He's both still in play. He's still got a grip of it here. Somehow, John Arias. And he's been shoved over there by Nico Barella, whose frustration was evident. And you can't really blame him. But it is a foul by Nico Barella, who got really frustrated by John Arias trying to toy with the ball at the corner flag and just come in and just threw him to the ground. That's a yellow. Or a free kick, sorry, not a yellow for Nico Barella. So a free kick on this far left side for Fluminense. You're 3 minutes plus additional time away from a massive scalping. Although on that occasion that free kick came to nothing. Goal kick. Carol says, would love to see Fluminense go through, as I've been watching their youth teams for years at the Super Cup NI, formerly Milk Cup, up here in the Northwest. Oh, very, very nice. Of course, the Milk Cup, I know it well. Of course. Oh, the Super Cup NI. Yeah, get teams from all around watching on. It's a great little event. See a couple of the youth teams from England come over as well. It's a real quality entertainment event, the Milk Cup, or the Super Cup NI as it's known now here in Northern Ireland. Good to have you involved, Carol. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you everybody for joining us for these final few moments of this game. That's a lofted ball. Oh, again, it's gone all the way through from Luis Enrique. But it had Fabio a little bit worried as it found its way towards the box there, but it lofted over the top and goes out for a throw, or a goal kick, sorry, on the far side. Right, time running out for Inter. Time has been running out for a long time now. And really, Fluminense, what a job they have done up to this point. Just impeccable in defence all the way through this game. That was a little bit of a loose challenge. Inter have it back. 90 seconds of the 90 minutes to go. Is there a late goal on the cards, or is the writing on the wall, really, in this one? Esposito. Martinez fizzing it wide. This right-hand side, Augusto dribbling past the challenge. Gets to the byline, and he's overrun it. Overrun it completely. Heavy touch, takes it behind for the goal kick. And Christian Chivu, frustrated figure on that sideline. Of course, this will be, if they lose this one, Inter, it will be his first defeat as the Inter head coach. Of course, unbeaten in his first three, which were the 3 group games in this competition. 2 wins and a draw. This would strike his first defeat as Inter boss if it was to end in a Fluminense victory. Fabio, long kick forward. Header flung forward by De Vrij. Brought down by Luis Enrique. Going to flick it in behind, but nice stretch from Ignacio, who might have just pulled a hamstring there in stretching it, but he should be okay to continue. As Lautaro Martinez and Esposito battling in that side, trying to win something, as the ball looked like it went behind. It has. Santos was complaining, but it's definitely gone behind. Will be a corner, and we have 7 minutes of additional time. We had 7 at the end of the first half, we have 7 at the end of the second, and Inter have a corner. Their 5th corner of the game, their first of the second half, believe it or not, for Inter. Chance from a set piece. DeMarco's delivery. Headed on and thumped clear by the Fluminense defence again. As Inter have everybody forward. Sommer. Trying to find something down the right side. Augusto through the lines. Finds Carboni. Carboni with a cut back. Here's a chance. Oh, it's skied over the bar by Carlos Augusto. And that is another chance gone a begging from Inter. How many chances do they want? My goodness me. They've had 14 shots. I think that was their 15th shot of the game, Inter. 4 of them on target. Compare that to Fluminense, who've had 10 shots. 3 on target on the afternoon. Fabio with a long kick forward. Flick on header there from the midfielder, but again, not keeping the possession too much, Fluminense. To be fair to them, they've actually had less possession in the second half than they did in the first. Inter have had 66%. Inter had 66. Oh, hold on a second. Lautaro Martinez! Again, trying to find the far corner. I think they might have took a touch on the way through, but oh, the flag's gone up actually against him. It's even more detrimental to him. More disappointing. Well, head on hands. Or a hands on head moment for those Inter fans that are inside this Bank of America stadium. What has gone wrong for them today? More to the point, what has gone right for them? As I was saying, 66% possession for Inter in the first half. Second half, they've had 70%. So they've had more possession in the second half than they did in the first. So that could argue that maybe Fluminense have been a little bit more defensive in the second half. You can excuse that by the fact that maybe towards the latter stages of this half they have been a little bit more standoffish. They certainly started the better of the two teams at the start of the second half. Fluminense, they were the more threatening to find a second goal, but Inter have had a good spell. But again, nothing to show for it. Throw from this right hand side by Santos. Oh, the space has opened up here for Fluminense. They've got space to try and have a shot. There's a shot. There's a goal. Hercules finds a second, and that's the game done and dusted. A Herculean effort from Fluminense, thumping Inter in the Club World Cup. And Internazionale Milano are heading back to Italy. They've given their all, but they've been nowhere near it all day. And that's the goal, that's the moment they've been ever so dreaming of, those Fluminense players and fans. And Hercules, you couldn't write it. Hercules is the man to get the second, and that is surely game, set and match Fluminense. Again, it's an awkward header. The ball bounces over the head of the Inter players in Carboni, and there's space just gaping on that left-hand side. And Hercules takes it down, sees where he wants to put it, and just rolls it with his left foot past Jan Sommer into the far right corner. That is the game, done and dusted. And there you go. A Roman god. And Hercules stands up when he needed to. And that's the game done and dusted. They only needed one chance, and that chance they've taken. 2-0. And there's it. The game is done. All that for Inter. All that excitement, build-up, chance, opportunity, all dissipating within a matter of seconds. Jesus. Someone's setting fireworks off outside. Someone's a Fluminense fan on my street. Oh, Jesus Christ. Luckily, there's only 2 minutes left of this game, and the game is decided now. This free kick will come here for Inter, but surely nothing's going to come of this now. It's too little, too late. Whatever comes of this is Fluminense head it away and clear it away as far as they can get it. And it's gone out for a throw on the far side, right on the halfway line for Inter Milan. 2 minutes remain. Hercules, the Brazilian, 24 years old, joined Fluminense on New Year's Day and has had his spurring moment for them here this afternoon. Look at those young Fluminense fans. Only his second goal for the club. He scored his first goal against Juventude in the Brazilian league. Oh, there's a shot. Oh, to the crossbar from DiMarco. I think they're still trying. Scrambled away. I mean, there's an expectation that I've got to say that nothing is going Inter's way tonight. Everything they've done hasn't worked, and now Fluminense won a third as they make the run in behind, and they're going to get that free kick as DiMarco bundles over the Fluminense attacker. And with less than a minute remaining, the bench is celebrating, the fans are celebrating, but that man, Renato Portaluppi, the Fluminense coach, is still awaiting his moment to celebrate. Only been in charge since April. He's won 11 out of his 18 matches so far as the Fluminense head coach. 62 years old, the Brazilian, and he could be leading his team to a big result, a massive victory over a European side, a massive victory over a Champions League finalist. Incredible. What a performance from Fluminense. Look at those fans. Look at those celebrations. Some say this competition means nothing. Some say, what's the point in even playing it? Well, that's the point. Those fans and these moments in world football don't come around often. The 7 minutes are up. Fluminense with a free kick in and around the left-hand side. It's going to be a throw-in. Or an offside, I believe. Something's happened over there. It's going to be a stoppage. We're going to wait on the final whistle. There it is! South America have one up on Europe. And it is Fluminense who knock out Inter Milan in the round of 16. More misery for Inter. It might be a new regime, it might be a new head coach, but it is same old Inter from what we've seen this season. From Fluminense, their prayers have been answered. No one really gave them a sniff coming into this game. They thought Europe will always beat South America. Well, not Fluminense. Credit to every single one of their players who fought for the full 95 minutes and more. That is what it can get you. Forget about European glory and Europeans. It is South America that is on top. It's Brazil that's on top. And it is Fluminense who are progressing to the quarterfinals. It won't be a European lockout. We will have at least 2 South American sides in the quarterfinals. And that man, John Arias, gets the player of the match. He was a sensation. Despite not getting on the score sheet, he was a sensation for Fluminense. The 2 scorers, German Cano and Hercules, were the 2 that find the net for Fluminense. Inter, despite all their efforts, couldn't find the net. They were nowhere near it on the day. They looked dead and buried after the 3rd minute when they'd gone 1-0 down. They showed no belief, no passion, no energy. But that was exactly the opposite from Fluminense, whose fans are on the verge of tears inside the Bank of America Stadium. And look at the players, look at the squad, look at the staff, who are absolutely loving it. They're bouncing on the pitch. It looks like they haven't played 100 minutes of football, those players. As that final whistle surged some sort of energy through their veins. And what a moment for them. Incredible. Final score from the Club World Cup round of 16 between Inter Milan and Fluminense. It's finished Inter 0, Fluminense 2. And what a massive result for Fluminense. Absolutely fantastic. Congratulations to them. And they fully deserved it. I said it at half time. Inter were dead and buried. They were nowhere near it. And if Fluminense did more of the same than they did in that first half, they would win. And that's exactly what way it turned out. They had to fight. They had to give their all. They had to defend. They had to use their goalkeeper on occasion. But certainly, every single thing they did today from Fluminense was incredible. And whoever they play in the quarterfinals, either Man City or Al Hilal, it won't be an easy task for whoever they play, because Fluminense are a good side, and they've shown that today. A Champions League finalist, completely kind of demoralised and destroyed. Unbelievable. Right, thank you all for joining. Gunga says, great commentary, Kevin. Reminds me of 5 Live commentary. Eustace Trivia, I was listening to 5 Live in February 93 when Eric Cantona launched his karate kick into the crowd. Thank you very much, Gunga. Thank you very much. Carol, thank you for joining us. Andy, thank you very much indeed. And everybody who's joined us. That's what football's about. The day you beat a giant is a day you never forget. Fans and players alike. 100%. What a moment for Fluminense. What a day. And fantastic for them. Inter is a banter club. The best one of the top teams in the world. Great commentary, Kevin. Thank you very much, Marcus. Laser says the best. Thanks for commenting. Thank you very much, Laser. Great to have you all with us. Thank you all for joining us. It's been great this one tonight. It's been a very enjoyable night. Fluminense of Brazil have beaten the Champions League finalists Inter Milan. Inter, it's more misery for them. I said it at half time. They just need a holiday. And now they get their holiday. All those players will get a well-deserved rest because they have been knackered. And you could see it all through the game. Fluminense are in the middle of a Brazilian season. Well, they've got another round in this competition to go. They're into the quarterfinals. They will face either Man City or Al Hilal in the quarterfinals. We'll find out who they will play in the early hours of the morning. Again, I'll not be up. I'll find out when I wake up tomorrow morning what the result comes of that one. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget, though, tomorrow we're back for our final round of 16 game and an all-European battle. Real Madrid against Juventus. Looking forward to that one. That's tomorrow, 8 o'clock here on LFS. Right, thank you all for joining. Thank you very much for the likes, for subscribing. We hit 28,000 subscribers tonight. Thank you all indeed. And do join us. We hope you can join us tomorrow. For now, thanks for your company. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.